I was fortunate enough to meet up with Andrew one more time at my home in Colorado, where I spend every day under the shadow of an enormous mountain. So Andrew, looking back at all that we've talked about and all that we've looked at, you're still in the process of this whole research, right? How many papers have you already published?
2 have already been published. A third is in the process of being published, and there's four more to come. And so those papers are long and detailed with all the microscope photographs and all the descriptions of the rocks, because it's reporting all the observational data that anyone can go and look at and read.
I guess the question is, how is the world going to respond to that?
So if they were to admit that my evidence indicates there was a catastrophic global flood with a short period of time of catastrophic processes, a humongous amount of energy and earth movements to raise up these mountains, they're going to have to forget their millions of years. So they're going to have to reject their own interpretive framework. So they're either going to ignore the research, which is what they commonly do, or attack the scientists.
And yet you still go on. You still proceed in this work.
Absolutely, because it's part of our worship, as we've been given dominion over the earth by God. We've been given brains to use. He expects us to use them. It's an act of worship to him. And of course, we've got a lot more work to do. I mean, what about the animals? What were they doing at this time? What about the people that were descended from Noah? There's lots of questions that we have yet to answer, to link from the time that Noah got off the ark with the rise of the mountains into the civilizations that everyone is familiar with. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us to get a fully integrated package of explaining the world around us as it is today.
So that brings me back again to some things that we've talked about before. We talked about them earlier in the previous film, and that is the whole notion of creation scientists and the processes that a creation scientist goes through, and that has all been exampled for us in this project.
Well, anyone can collect rock samples, anyone can do laboratory analyses, but they're just numbers, they're just observations of minerals. You've got to be able to put that within an interpretive framework. And I start with the interpretive framework that Genesis is literal history, that God has given us that written account of history, and it describes the Genesis flood. And so then I start to look at the data, the observational data within that framework. And so that's what creation scientists do. We ask questions and then we do the research to see if we can answer those questions, but all within the interpretive framework of Genesis.
Andrew, there are still a lot of questions that are left unanswered. Where do you see creation science going from this point forward?
Well, actually, I'm quite excited because we see another generation being raised up for which we can hand on the torch. And you know, my research and others who are doing research like this are setting examples for the younger generation. We want to equip them and challenge them with the things that have yet to be answered, to take up the questions and run with it and do the necessary research. So I'm quite excited about what God can do with young people in the years ahead.